Hello, in this video, we are going to walk through how to add in a new sales order inside of Acumatica. So to begin, we're going to go to the sales order workspace on the left side. And there's a couple different ways that we can add in a new sales order. We can click sales orders here, which will take us to the full list of sales orders. And then we can click this plus button up at the top to add a new record into our sales order list. There's a couple shortcuts you could also do when entering a new sales order. Up at the top here under sales or new sales order, you could click this tile and that would automatically bring you to the screen that we are at just behind here in the sales order entry screen. In addition, if you hover over the sales order, you'll see there's this plus new button right here, which again will take us directly to our sales order entry screen. Looking at the top left here, so we have our order type and our order number. So the order type is by default going to be SO when you're entering in a new sales order. These order types will change. For instance, if you have an order coming in from an e-commerce website or you have an EDI order coming through, the order type can change based off of whatever order type the system is receiving. But generally speaking, when you do a direct entry, you're going to be entering a sales order, SO order type. Just below that is going to be the order number. And this is going to automatically populate from the system when we go ahead and save the record. So currently it's set to new. So the system will just give us the next number in the numbering sequence that we have set up. Just below that is going to be the status here. So the status is going to show based off of the progression of the sales order throughout the system. So when it's open, it's going to be open. When it's created, it's going to be open. Then it will move through to shipping, and then it will go on, say it's pending approval, or when it's invoiced, whatever the case might be, the status will change based off of where the sales order is in the process. Just below this is going to be the sales order date. So if you click this, you can enter this for whatever date that you would like, whether it be, say, last week or next week, whatever the case might be. And then just below that is going to be the requested on date right here. This would be a date that you would, say, work out with some of your customers. And then if there was a date that they had wanted this sales order by, you could put that requested date right here. Just below that is going to be the customer order number. And this order number is usually something that's used when the customer places a PO. So here you could enter in a customer PO number should you have one. Or again, if there's an order coming in from an e-commerce website or from EDI or some sort of outside source into Acumatica, this usually gets automatically populated with that number. Just below that is going to be the external reference number. So should there be some sort of external reference and there's a number that you want to link to the sales order, you can manually enter that in here. Just note that neither one of these are a required field, so you can certainly leave them blank should you like to. Next, we're going to grab our customer. So up at the top here, we can do a lookup of all of our customers. And if we take a look at our screen, we can go ahead and we can enter whatever customer we would like. Just below this will be the location. So should there be multiple locations set up for that customer, this is going to automatically default to the main location or the default location from the customer. But if there were multiple locations, those would appear here, and you could select them for the sales order. The same applies to the contact. So the default contact is going to automatically populate in. And if we do a lookup here, we could change the contact to whatever we might like. Just below this is going to be the description. So if there is a description that we wanted to add in, we certainly could. But just as you look right here, this is not a required field, so you can certainly leave the description blank. Over to the right here are some different totals associated with the sales order, and these will automatically get calculated when they move throughout the sales order entry process. So now that we have entered in the header information up at the top, now it's time to enter in some items that this customer is purchasing from us. So the branch, when we add in a new row, the branch here is automatically going to populate based off of the branch that we're logged into up at the top. Should you need to change this based off of your access to different branches, you could do a lookup and select the different branches here. Next is going to be the inventory ID that this customer is purchasing from you. So in this case, we'll select the laptop. And then a couple things, as soon as you enter the inventory item, what you'll see at the bottom is your real-time inventory that the system has. So as we see, we currently have about 2,100 of these on hand, available for shipping. These will change as the quantities throughout the system change. Should you be receiving more or shipping more, these numbers will fluctuate up and down. The next is going to be the warehouse that we want to send these from. So as we see right here, we have some in both our retail warehouse as well as our wholesale warehouse. These can always be changed when you are performing the shipment, but this allows you to figure out which warehouse you want to sell these out of right here. Next is going to be the line description, which is going to be the inventory ID. You could always change this line description should you need to, but this will automatically be brought in based off of the inventory item description. Next is going to be the unit of measure that you're selling. So this will be by default, the base unit of measure that comes in from the inventory item. And then here is going to be the quantity that we would like to sell. So this customer is going to buy 20 of these laptops from us. And as you see, what happens is right now our order quantity automatically increased to 20, as well as our detail total. Now, this default price is going to be brought in from the actual inventory item itself. And so the unit price is set to $500. But let's say we wanted to increase this up or down. We certainly could. And we could say enter in, we'll say $490. When you do that, this manual price box automatically checks, which just tells us that this was a manual price that was entered in for this item. The next is just going to be the extended price here. So that's just going to be our unit price times the quantity. Should there be any sort of discounts applied, those would be applied here. And then as we see here, we have some amounts that are grayed out because these will just be calculated based off of any sort of discounts that are applied at the line level. If we scroll over to the right here, there are some additional fields that we have. And the one that I want to point out is this requested on. So if we remember, we requested this here on the 17th, but should we have wanted to change this, this would be reflected on the actual line itself. From here, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to save our sales order record. And this allows us to automatically populate the order number associated with the sales order. So Acumatica took the next order number and it assigned it to the sales order that we're entering. If you see here, we have our taxes. So should there be any taxes, those would be entered right here. And if you had any sort of EDI or commerce orders coming across, the taxes would automatically be calculated should you have tax set up on your commerce site. The commissions here will be brought in from the actual detail itself. So if we go back to our details line, and if this was a commissionable product, we have this checked right here. And then if there was a salesperson assigned either to this customer or to this item, that would go in right here at the line level. Should we select a salesperson here, and if we go ahead and save it, on the commissions tab, now we can see that we have the commission for the salesperson. So we have the salesperson and then the commission associated with that salesperson and how much would be for this order. Next is the financial tab. So the first thing to look at here is going to be the branch that we're working with. So again, this is going to be brought in from the branch that we're logged into up at the top and the one that we select on the details tab. Should there be terms? So terms are a required field, as you see right here. So these will automatically be brought in from the customer master, but should you need to change them for the sales order, you could go in and change those here. Next, you have some payment information, which again are not required fields for the sales order, but these will be brought in automatically from the actual customer itself. We have our shipping tab here. So if there is some sort of ship via that we would like to select or FOB point, we could certainly enter those right here. And then we'd have our scheduled shipment date as well as our shipping rule. If we were allowing for back order or if we had to ship complete, we can set that right here. The next is going to be the addresses tab. So this address tab is going to be brought in from the sales or from the customer record itself. And should we want to override either the ship to or the bill to for this particular sales order, we would check this box here and we could enter in whatever ship to contact. And then the address, we would do the same and we could enter in whatever address that we would like. The discounts will be brought in based off of if there's any discounts associated with the sales order or with this customer, those would show here. We have our shipments, which is blank currently because we have not created any shipments for this particular sales order, but those would show here, as would the payment links and payments also, once those are connected to the sales order further down the process. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this record, and this will complete the creation of the sales order. I hope this video helps, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.